Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still here after all these years, after all these tears I shed. I'm still here and I'm walking this earth like I should be. There was days that I didn't know if I would be. Yeah, yeah. Now I stand tall with my feet in the ground and my head in the clouds. 'Cause I'm still here like I should be. Yeah, yeah, like I knew that I could be. Here we go, here we go. I'm still here. I'm here.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We are going to talk about sex today.
All right.
We talked about this a long time ago, but it's been a while, and I think it's important to talk about.
I do too. If you know us, please stop right now.
This is not for you.
Right.
I believe that's the way you started the last one too.
Okay.
So you're consistent.
Yeah. I'm a simple guy.
Yeah. But specifically talking about sex after cancer, right? It is not something that gets talked about enough. I feel like cancer oftentimes is focused on how somebody looks, not how they necessarily feel or how their body is, working.
Right.
So everybody just kind of assumes that as long as you look okay, that everything is back to normal and go on with your life.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that cancer changes so much.
Yeah.
And we just need to talk about that. We need to talk about maybe some of the challenges that we had and some of the ways that we've navigated through them and just kind of our whole mindset about it. Right?
Okay.
So how do you feel about talking about this?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. When did you know that things had changed from a sex?
Well, you got diagnosed with cancer. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
Everything else isn't important at that point. I mean, literally, like, that's the last thing on anybody's mind when you get this very grim diagnosis, which the whole get your affairs in order kind of started that. I think that probably would put a damper on most bedrooms.
Yeah.
Because your focus just completely changes. And this is before, I mean,
before
treatment.
The changes
before
my body.
The big changes that were made, that was one.
Yeah.
And then, do we want to kind of go chronological? Is that what you're asking me here?
Any way you would like.
Okay. I remember you. I don't remember when it was.
Okay.
It was, I would say, during treatment. And we hadn't had a lot of sex, obviously. I don't know how many months it was into this or what. I don't know. And you asked me, I'm not going to remember this exactly, but you asked me, like, God, do you remember what I'm talking about? Like, you were like, we need to do this differently or something. I don't know if this was before any surgeries or after, or I'm thinking it was before, like the mastectomy, but it could have been after. I'm not sure. And I just went, yeah. And I had no idea what you're talking about.
Like we need to approach sex differently.
Yeah. And no, you alluded to, and it had to do with, I think probably like the beginning of menopause. But I still don't know what you were talking about to this day. And I just went, yep. And I didn't know. So do you remember what you're talking about?
Well, I don't remember that specific conversation. I do remember.
It was only 27 years ago.
I know. I mean, I do remember feeling a lot of things, right?
Okay.
From feeling like here's this massive grief that we're dealing with in terms of learning that our lives are completely different, learning that I would no longer be able to have children, which was a huge, we were not having sex just to have babies by any means, but that having that taken from you feels terrible and also impacts how you feel about yourself, or how I felt about myself.
Which I know now is more important than anything.
How I feel about myself. Yes.
It trumps everything
Yeah.
else. And I didn't know that as a younger person.
Yeah.
Or
Keep
as a
in
guy.
mind, I mean, we were 26 and 28 at the time. So we had been together a few years, but like it's not like we'd even figured out, I think, our own sex life prior to having this happen
For sure.
to us.
Yep.
So, and things have changed, I think, a lot in the last 30 years, and people do a much better job of talking about sex and talking about women's pleasure and all those kind of things.
Just you mean in the world.
Just
like
in the world
yeah,
in general,
totally
at least in the
agree.
United States.
Yeah,
in
it was
general.
only in 80s movies before that.
And it was also all attached.
Never talked about outside the movies.
But every movie in the 80s
holy
was
crap.
so dirty.
Yes.
Yes. But also calling it dirty is part of the problem, right? Because there's so much shame attached to being sexual.
And when we had different upbringings in that realm.
Yes.
Yes. Just because I was not involved so much in the church and learning the shame that goes with that and the dirty, that wasn't part of mine.
Yeah, if you want to know how I was raised, you should read the book Awake that just came out by Jen Hatmaker. Oh. She talks a lot about purity culture and how, they sat us all down and like plucked a flower, every leaf or petal off a flower and said,
this could be you.
Every time you do something with a boy, this is, are you going to give somebody an empty stem?
Lord.
And again, men had no responsibilities. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, trying to juggle all of those things. And then also this perception of what your body is like, not just the perception, but the fact that massive changes are happening.
Yeah. For a number of different reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, some were hormone changes.
Yeah.
Some were physical changes. Some were psychological changes. Every possible type of change that would affect sex was happening at the very same time.
Absolutely.
To a young person.
To a young person. Yes. Right. And also the want to have connection with you and to not have everything taken from us. It felt like so many things were taken for us. So still a want to be able to have a sex life, but also not knowing what that could look like because nothing felt good. I mean, I early on, I had my mastectomy about 7 months after I was diagnosed, a double mastectomy. At that point, I was flat. I remember saying to you, like, just don't touch me there, please. Don't touch me there. And even after reconstruction, I was also like, yeah, still, there's nothing about that. In fact, it kind of brings me right back out of anything intimate because one, I realized that breasts were really a part that did help me get into the mood. It felt good, all of these things. And now I just have these lumps, these mounds that from the outside, everything looks great. Yeah. But they're not breasts anymore. They're not sexual. They're nothing like that.
It's not a sexual organ anymore.
Right. And I know we talk a lot about, we don't need our breasts, and I get that, but I also am like, oh, but there's many things that we benefit from having them, right? So it's been one of those things as treatment has changed over the years. They're not doing as many double mastectomies in later stages. And I understand why it freaks people out, but I'm also like, man, that's really one organ that I wish I could have kept, right? And I think probably, if hindsight 2020, like we watched my tumor completely go away, I wonder if we could have saved them.
Likely.
Yeah.
Based on what they're doing today. Yeah. That's actually pretty likely.
Yeah. So again, from a breast cancer, when we're talking about people with breast cancer, we're talking about women who have all different changes just right here in their breasts, right? Whether they have them or not. And even sometimes, people feel like they've maybe betrayed them or things like that. There's just a lot of emotions that are attached to that. But for us, it was kind of like, yeah, just leave those alone, please. And now I have to figure out another way that feels pleasurable to me, that would be sort of foreplay or something. And also, here's menopause. Hello, menopause.
Wait, we're still back then.
Yeah, because menopause was
even
happening
more
right
than
away.
that. I mean, you talk about all of the chemotherapy that you went through.
Right.
Even well before the 7 months. I mean, before that just tears your body up. And it's not specific. It goes after fast growing cells. So it's not, I mean, it's doing everything, including the beginning of menopause at that point, before you ever even got to the mastectomy. There was a lot done already.
No, I agree with that, but I kind of look at that as such a short period of time. Like people can go months without having sex.
Right.
You understand, like we're really sick. Well, I'm really sick. This is not for a lot of things. But then as you continue to live and try to get your life back, then it becomes this, wait a second, how do we do this now? How do we do sex in a way that feels good, and what are the barriers to that?
Yeah. And I don't remember the year of treatment.
Yeah, I agree. Same.
When we're talking about sex.
Yeah, I agree.
I honestly don't know. I
agree.
I'm sure we had it. It was few and far between, I'm sure. Like
Yes.
when coming out of starting to feel better before the next thing, maybe we did. I don't remember. Right. It certainly wasn't a priority for either of us. I felt like we were very close at the time.
Like connected.
We were hanging on to each other type of thing. So I think it probably fulfilled that need a little bit. But I do have that memory of it had been a long time. We were going to have sex again. And you said that to me, and I just went along with it because I had no idea what you're talking about and didn't want to ruin the mood. So I'm like, well, okay, sure. So it did happen in that period of time, but it didn't happen often. So in what I'm saying though is when you started to truly feel better, post that treatment that was really that initial intense year
of treatment, yes.
Coming out of that, it was 10 changes, not one.
Yeah.
Whereas if one change would have happened, just the chemotherapy, let's say, and then us figuring out, oh, okay, and we've got it back to normal. Then the next thing, let's figure it out when we go back to normal. And if that happened, that would have been 15 years of treatment. But if that would have happened, I think that's more doable because it's one thing you're trying to figure out. This was the mental, the physical changes in the body, the hormones being gone. It was just one thing on another that we probably tried to figure out all at once. And neither of us, there's no book on that.
Well, also by ourselves, like blindly. Right? Nobody's talking about these things, especially back then.
We didn't ask specifically.
Well, remember,
in the beginning.
We didn't ask in the beginning because, again, I think part of this is tied to I should just be grateful.
Taboo,
yeah. I should just be grateful to be alive. Never mind my, sex hurts. It's not enjoyable. I feel like, this is not doing anything for our relationship. No, it's because you're scared that you're going to hurt me. And you're, like all of these things where people want to have sex to connect.
Yes.
And it is a major barrier, like in that time.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how to talk about it.
Nope.
I think that is just like a part of like growing up, I guess, and, again, taking our past and putting it away. And I will say, so one of the things that I think changed for us was that you you became intentional about how can I help? How can we make this what I would like sex to be a part of our life, and what does that look like and what can we do? And one of the first things I did was I did talk to my oncologist, and I remember going to a sex therapist, and I saw her one time, right? And it was completely useless. And I remember her telling me, and this will kind of segue into some of the next stuff we're going to talk about. I remember her telling me that I could use a vibrator, but to do it with caution because it could affect, kind of desensitize me over time. And so I remember walking away with that information and going, and again, like purity culture, there's no talk about vibrators. Right. Me going,
how soon after treatment do you think this was?
I bet it was 10 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think it was way after. I think, again, that's the mix of, one, am I actually alive? Two, do I actually feel healthy enough? Three, have I accepted my body even though I don't love it? Four, are we not just exhausted from kids and coaching and living and whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of this, like maybe there's and also, are we growing apart? Is our connection waning because we're not having sex very often? I think it was, probably that far in. Do you want to talk about vibrators or the vibrator?
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know how it started or what, but should I get into details like the where and all of that and everything? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I can just say there was an event in our life that kind of spurred you to say,
okay, I don't remember this.
We only live once. And
I mean?
And
you're right.
And I don't really know what the sex therapist was talking about, but you bought a vibrator and said, I think, why not try it? Right?
Yes. I literally, I remember it was basically like Christmas shopping. It literally, it was Christmas. And I have never been in one of those stores before.
A sex store, right?
It was quite possibly one of the most intimidating things I've ever done in my life.
This is maybe not pre-internet, but early. You're not doing all of your shopping on Amazon at this point in the game. You're still shopping in stores.
So I think well, obviously I had an idea that maybe there is something, whatever. So I go into this store, of course, not in my hometown. Well, my hometown doesn't have one, but I got as far away as I could. And I probably drove by 3 times before I stopped, but I stopped, I went inside, and I'm just, of course, I am this guy in any store. Don't freaking help me. I'll figure it out. I'm that guy. Like in any store,
want help regardless.
I'm offended if you ask me for help. I will walk the other way.
Even though you're pretty clueless in a store.
Clueless, yes. But I can handle it. So I go into this place, and of course, I just go in and hang a right. And I'm just walking up and down the aisles, just kind of with my head down, but looking. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So there were 3 ladies who worked there, and they saw me.
Well, you're not the first guy who's walked in there clueless.
And I just said, I don't know what I'm looking for, but I want to get my wife a gift. I don't know what any of these things do. And they're like, we got it. So she said, and they asked the question, has she ever used a vibrator or anything? And I'm like, I'm quite certain no. And they're like, okay, let's start out with kind of an entry level type of thing. And I'm like, sounds good. Get me out of here. So paid for it and got out of there and wrapped it up. And I can remember you opening it. Of course, this not around the kids or anything, but opening it and just kind of going, okay, we might give this a try someday. It was one of those. So I took it, I charged it, and I'm like, no, we're gonna try this.
Yeah.
So and it wasn't like woo, whoa,
No.
the answer to everything at all. But again, I think with everything, there's a learning curve.
Yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely a learning curve with that. And I think also, there was a little bit of, okay, what can we try? This,
I was willing to try anything, obviously.
This isn't really our sex life isn't really working, and I would like it to be better, right?
Yes.
And so we started using that.
Yeah.
And now, just to keep talking a little bit about vibrators, I will say just recently, I came across research, and I can't remember what it was on, that said that vibrators have been shown to increase like blood flow, of course, right? Which can increase lubrication, can increase your response.
Kind of like a retraining.
Kind of like a retraining. Yeah. And it clicked with me that I used to have extreme vaginal dryness at that point.
Yep.
And we've talked about lube. Well, we still use lube, but I don't have the dryness I used to have. So over the course of many years of moving from that little vibrator to other different, we've tried a lot of different vibrators.
Lord. Yes.
But honestly, it is a trial and error kind of thing.
Because everybody is different with the responses that they would have to. One thing can be the best thing a woman has ever experienced and can be a complete dud for somebody else. And it's the same product.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and so I have found that I like vibrators that are more like clitoral suction. Yep. Right? So and that's what works great for me.
Yeah. And if you read reviews on there, which that's where I start with the reviews because I don't know what I'm doing. Some people are like, oh my gosh, no, I bled the first time I used it. And I'm reading this going, oh my, what? I can't buy this. And it is literally like just the opposite for you in that product type of thing. And I just go, wow, women's bodies are completely different.
They are completely different. But I just don't understand. And maybe the research that they're talking about, like the use of vibrators, is fairly new. But why are we not telling women this? Why are we not saying, listen, these are options for you? They're options beyond, of course, if you have vaginal dryness and you can use a vaginal estrogen, have at it, like whatever, use whatever you can. But we have to get rid of the shame and stigma around this and help women feel comfortable with their bodies. And I will say that's another thing that's really helped. With a vibrator, we can use it together. I can also use it by myself, and it's allowed me to figure out my body a little bit more. And that's been better.
It's been great
for sex in general, right? So that's a huge thing. Go look at vibrators.
Yeah, Lord. Yeah, I got on all of their mailing lists for sure from doing the research and clicking on those buttons and doing so.
Yeah,
that is the case, but it seems like every month they come out with the next best thing, which is probably a good, marketing tool for them. But I think for you kind of found something that works for you that, I'm sure there could just be explosive type of, I never experienced that type of thing. And that's always in my head, like, what about that?
What could be better?
But, it does take trial and error.
Yeah. And I will say, you don't need your partner to do that. You can do your own research.
Yeah.
You, I feel like, have taken the lead on a lot of that. It's not like I don't ever look at them myself a little bit, but.
No, but I'll show you, like, I'll say, hey, this is what people are saying right now. You want to take a look at this, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And let you make that judgment or that call type of thing. I'm done with the surprise Christmas presents, and I'm not doing that anymore. I did that once. Yeah, it's a team effort now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just been good to be able to talk about it openly, right? It's not something that we have to hide anymore. And it's not something that we have to pretend about either. No. It's just, this is what's really improved the quality of our sex life.
Yep.
I would
and
say.
if you're totally against that, hey, find another avenue. But we're
Right.
just telling you, just like
Right.
everything else about this stupid podcast, is this is what worked for us.
Yeah.
In our relationship, and
Yeah.
it made a huge difference.
Yeah.
So we're passing that along.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that goes along with that is learning to communicate about sex and about wanting to have sex or those kind of things. We've tried different, you've tried different games and things like that. For them, I don't generally.
To be fair,
yes,
I was trying them at the same time I was trying anything else.
Yes,
because I was just spinning with, I don't know what to do, and I've got to find something.
Yeah.
And looking back, in retrospect, always we look back and we go, oh, wow. I was unintentionally pushing too hard because I just wanted the result. It's what I do in every avenue of my life. I just push. And obviously that was not the case. It was really frustrating because I was reading these things and I was, okay, this worked for these people and this worked and this worked. And I was bringing that all to you. And because I was doing that, I was getting more pushback and pushback and pushback.
Because I just felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like it didn't feel good.
Well, yeah, but then the next day you would come home and go, I heard this podcast and this person.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I got to try this. I'm like, what the fuck?
What do you mean?
I've been asking for 6 months. And then you heard this person on a podcast say it. Now it's the next best thing. Which I learned a lesson there is in our relationship. I'm still for sure learning today. But is pushing in any area like that will always get me the opposite result.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just set you up to listen to a specific podcast or something and then just back off, I know what happens.
Well, part of it is also I get to recognize within myself that.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. 100%.
I feel like, one, I feel like I'm in control.
Yes.
2, I don't feel like I'm letting you down. That's another thing, right? I felt like there was always there would be these, let's do this, and me not really knowing how to feel about that, but also not, of course, wanting to let you down or
for sure
feel, and be it lingerie or something else, it never felt good to me.
Yeah.
Right?
What the hell do guys get girls? Guys and girls. What do spouses get their wives? I know most of you on this are wives. Could you please ask your husbands or whatever? What do you get someone that you want to be a sexier type of gift when, I mean, it's like lingerie and what? There's nothing else. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what else there is. And I would like to give gifts like that and stuff, but there's nothing else. I don't know. Vibrator, I guess. Did that.
Worked well.
That worked. Oh, I've got a lot of those gifts. Yes. I don't know. What were we talking about?
Well, just kind of relearning intimacy, right? Like, I feel like we've had to, I don't know if we ever had learned it correctly, learned it, like I said, we hadn't been together that long to really know how things worked or whatever, or how our life worked together. But, some of the things that we've learned on the other side of being menopausal and having, all of the stuff that comes with living with breast cancer is that, unsexy things like scheduling sex. It works, right? Yeah. Or
and there's a psychological reason for stuff like that too. I've learned over time is obviously sex does not begin at night. Mm-hmm. And being turned on or being aroused or whatever is a thing that can happen throughout a day or take sometimes. And the more that is, the better the result is going to be, the better the feeling, the better the, engagement and all of that. And which goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah. So kind of like, are you interested? earlier in the day is
Mhm.
something that works well,
Mm-hmm.
I think, for us.
Yep.
Another thing we've learned is that maybe night's not the best time. Like, that's just a lot of times, I don't know, tired at night or you don't sleep well or whatever, that kind of stuff. So,
Well, yeah,
like,
yeah. That's the difference. Is after sex, a lot of times you're up for
a couple hours,
a couple hours at least. Yeah, at least, yes.
which isn't great.
Where for me, I can fall asleep at a normal time.
Right.
It's just our different bodies. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess all this to say, I think what helped the most was figuring out I didn't have to figure this out myself. Us being a partners in this, and you continuing to say, I'm committed to this. It's important to me. I'm still attracted to you. All of those things have been hugely impactful. I don't think there's been any expectation of why aren't you the way you used to be, which again, maybe that's to our benefit because we were so young that we don't remember the way we used to be. But sex after cancer can be good, but it is a learning process, and you have to put all your cards on the table.
Yeah.
And be really vulnerable about it, I think.
And I think getting help is okay.
Oh, yes, for God's sakes, yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
we really we didn't go to a sex therapist like together or do any of that stuff. But if I could go back and do it again, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Oh, I don't either.
Because we have no answers. Maybe they can cut 5 years off of this trial and error type of thing.
Absolutely. And that's why that's why I'm willing to talk about this too, is because I don't want you out there just existing. This podcast is about living well with cancer, and sex is part of living, for people, and we should be able to enjoy it as well.
I agree.
And it needs to be addressed on all levels, but that's why we're here to kind of share our experiences.
Yeah.
And I hope you find it helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's it.
That's it. Time to go have sex.
I knew that was coming. Also, the humor, being able to keep the humor in life makes it better, right?
I think so. You better think so a little bit, or you'd be miserable by now.
Yeah. But all right.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Thanks so much for watching and being a part of our community. It means the world to us. Our goal is always to help as many people as possible live well with cancer. You can help us by subscribing and sharing episodes when you hear of others that could benefit from it. We really appreciate your time spent with us and your commitment to offering hope and inspiration to others.